Hi everybody, this is Jeff Bernard with Solve Systems, and today we're going to learn how to use global variables. These are amazing for passing data between screens without having to call information on other screens and slow down the performance of our app. So we're going to get into that right now. So here's what we're doing. We're going to start out with an explanation. We have screens 1, 2, and 3. We've added a label, we've added a button, we've added 3 text inputs. We did the same on screen 2, label, button, 3 text inputs. And then on screen 3, we added a gallery, a button, and a label. So to explain variables, it's best to go to View tab up here and then click Variables. In Variables, you'll see all of the variables that we set. And what these do is they collect data throughout our app and allow us to share data between screens without calling other data sources on other screens, slowing down the performance of our app. For example, if you had screen 1 and screen 2 and you were calling data on screen 2 from screen 1, you would see up in the app checker under your performance, you would see some errors there. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to make collections ahead of time and do all these things to where we're slowing down the performance of our app. So variables, global variables, are a very good way of achieving this. So how do we do that? Within here, we'll hit play and we'll just start typing in some information. We'll type in name, number, city. Hit button, and then we can say address, location, and let's think of another one. We'll go with office. Okay, boom, there you go. We have all of our variables in a gallery. And what's cool about that is that we haven't had any performance issues. We're simply setting the global variable. We're passing that to be stored to be used elsewhere in our app without incurring any sort of performance issues. I've done videos in the past where I don't think I fully implemented variables properly. What I was doing is passing information between screens by starting a collection with data cards from all of the screens, and then I was updating that data source every time I would navigate to another screen. It was inefficient. And so I went back and thought about this some more, got a little better understanding, and that's how we've got this conclusion to this video. So we're going to dig into how we can achieve this starting on screen 1. So we click on screen 1, and then we look at our text inputs, and you see these names. Okay, text input 1, text input 2, text input 3. On the button, we click on the button, or you can click here, or you can click on the button, and then make sure you have on select selected, and then we're simply going to set the variable. Now this takes that input, we name it, we give it a name, and that sets it into memory. And so we have set, I made this var text input 1, text input dot text. Very important here in my mind is to name these variables what they are. I've had some instances where I've gotten creative with variable names, and then as things get more complex, you start adding more variables, it gets really messy. So you want to name your variables what they are. So you can give it a name of anything if you want, but as I just said, you really want to make sure that you give it the name of what it is. So the formula for that tells you exactly how to do this. Set variable, that's the name that you're going to give it, right? It can be any name again. And then the data source, the value that you're collecting. So you'll see text input 1, text input 2, text input 3, var text input 1, var text input 2, var text input 3. You want to make sure after text input you put .text. If you were collecting something like a date, you would put .date selected. You want to make sure that you put dot whatever you're collecting, right? So if it was a drop down 1 and you had some information, you would put drop down 1 dot selected, and it would store that information in the format that we need to be able to use it later on. So that covers screen 1, and we'll simply go, okay, well that brings us to screen 2. Same format here. We'll go to on select, and then you see set var text input 4, var text input 5, 6, and then navigate to screen 3. So you can use this repetitiously, and if you think about it in your apps, if you were doing like a sales app or something like that, instead of making a collection early on and then having to patch back to that collection, what you could do is set variables on each screen and set it as you go along. So screen 1 is your customer information. You would set those variables as per the text inputs. And then screen 2, it's all about the job that you were selling to them. And then those details and set. And then when we get to screen 3, you could do things like on select of a button, you could patch to, or you could create a collection rather, and then you can send that to your in-data source, SharePoint list, SQL Server, Excel sheet, whatever your in-data source will be. For this instance, I chose this gallery just to illustrate that you can list these things in this way. And so how that would be done is you would just simply put a bracket here, and then start putting your vars, your variables in here. So you can see I have them listed 1 through 6. Super simple, and it'll list them one on each line because this is a table value. And then clear. This is important too because what you're going to want to do in some instances is maybe clear out the variables. And so what I did was reset text input 1 through 6, right? So we did reset, and then set var text input 1 blank, and then closed it out. And we did that for 1 through 6 as well. So that's a good way of erasing those values should you need to erase it and put something back into there. So I hope this was informative. I know global variables are something I've been using a lot since I started understanding them better, because like I said, initially I did not understand them as well as I should have in some of my designs. But this has made things a lot more efficient and a lot better to be able to make apps more proficient for my customers. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. And if you want any more content related to global variables, let me know and I'll make a video. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.